Did you know that Hebrew in the Bible uses like almost a secret way of writing that is absent in our Western literature? Hey, I'm Kinsey. I talk about Torah, I talk about Jesus, and studying the Bible in its original language. Today, I want to teach you a little bit about something called a chiasm. This is a literary way of writing that the authors of the Bible used that points to a specific spot in the narrative. Hebrew narrative does not always point to the end of the story for its takeaway. It oftentimes hinges on a point in the center. And this chiasm is a tool, kind of like a highlighter, to ask the reader to ask the question, what is the story hinging on? What's the pivot point of the story? What's the main takeaway? You often see it in repetition, like A, B, C, C, B, A, where the middle there's a narrative shift that happens. More complex chiasms could look like A, B, C, D, C, B, A, where there's an actual thing in the story that happens. Then you have things like parallelisms and cyclical repetition that are also used in Hebrew that point to something different in the narrative. A really easy example of this is the creation account. Day 1 mirrors day 4. God separates light from dark, and then he creates the luminaries, the sun, the moon, and the stars. Day 2 mirrors day 5. He separates the heavens from the waters, the sea, and then day 5, he creates the fowl of the air and the fish of the sea. Day 3 is the land and the plants, and then day 6 is animals and humankind. See how there's that mirror there? And what the Hebrew is pointing to in this narrative is a shift in what God is doing, where God goes from creating environments to assigning purpose. He first forms realms, then assigns rulers to them, meaning authority is always given after God is the one who creates order. One of my favorite chiastic structures in Genesis is the beginning of creation to the fall and what the narrative points to, what it's highlighting. Here's a visual example from my book that I'm currently working on, where A, God forms man from the dust, B, then the garden is created and given, C, then he entrusts the command to the man. D, this is the narrative shift that the entire story hinges on. It is not good for man to be alone. C, the command is violated. B, the garden is lost. A, man returns to dust. See how that pattern repeats itself? Which means even in a story about sin, the purpose of the story is to talk about relationship. And you find this all over the Genesis narrative, how many times God is trying to open the door to relationship. Once you see it, you find them everywhere. Go forth and find chiasms. Shalom.